Y'all ready for a quiz?
I don't know.
Huh?
We're going to find out.
We're not doing a quiz. All right, we're going to do a review.
Okay.
Let us bow our head first. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, this day. We thank you for this time. We thank you for this moment together that we have come out to learn more about your word, what you say, and the history of the people in America that are called the African Americans. We come now, we avail ourselves to your spirit, to your wisdom, to your knowledge. I ask you, Lord, to guide me in the proper way to give truth and not opinion. We bless you now. We praise you in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. All right. So no, we're not going to do a quiz. This is not about quiz. In fact, even in my line of work, I have to get certified for certain things, but some things are called open book certifications, which mean you always have the opportunity to go to the book to get it. You don't have to remember it off your head. So don't ever think like when you're being questioned about, just say the scriptures, that you got to go off your head. What happens to people a lot of times is they'll just start spewing out information off the top of the head, and you have to be careful with that. I'm saying even myself, and that's I say that's even fair to say. For even last week, I'm going to show you something. Last week, when we were talking about Joseph going to Laban, where he would end up getting his wife, we mentioned that he went to Midian. That wasn't accurate. It was actually Moses who left when he killed the Egyptian. He was the one who ran to Midian. Joseph actually ran to Aram, which was up around Mesopotamia, where his people was from. So I want to clear that up before I, go any further. But I want to just say that to say, so whether it's me, you, whatever, always be comfortable to say, hold up, let me go back and look into that. I don't know how much did y'all write that down or not, but when I looked at the video, I was like, I got to straighten that out, because that's not right. Because I don't want to tell you something that is inaccurate. All right? Okay. So I'm going to just start at the top. Race idolatry. What is race idolatry? From what y'all have learned, what is race idolatry? Anybody?
Thinking your race makes you superior?
Thinking your race make you superior. How many people have heard like the about people like the neo-Nazis? And when you hear about the neo-Nazis, and I know, for some people, it make their blood boil, because they say, white power. Okay. Then there's people that say, and I'm not just saying everybody say black power is saying the same thing, but when your race makes you superior, that's race idolatry. I don't care if it's Asian, I don't care if it's Indian, I don't care what ethnicity it is. If you think that because you are a certain ethnicity or a certain race, you are superior, that is race idolatry. Why am I saying there's race idolatry? What's idolatry?
Idol worship.
Huh? Yes. It's a worship of some type of deity or God. And one of the biggest, I would say, downfalls of people throughout history is idolatry from the one true God. So if he's not God, there's another God. That means that's idolatry. That means if he is not telling you what to do, there's somebody else that's telling you what to do. When you read where it says, you cannot serve both God and what? Yes. What that mean? It means one of them got to be God. So when I call it race idolatry, what I'm saying is your race is above what the Most High God says. That's what I call race idolatry. And you could say that's my word for it, but you can look it up. All right, so who are the Jews? We're still reviewing. We have not concluded that yet, right? What about in your notes? Who are the Gentiles? Who are the Gentiles? Those are not Jews. And you know what? And for a lot of people, a lot of years that have been in. Okay, so let's go to the Bible, Gateway Bible. Again, let's go there because I want y'all to take this away. Go to Genesis 10. Genesis 10. Genesis 10, keep going down. I think it's around 5. Okay, it says in 5, by these were the isles of the Gentiles. This is in Genesis 10. This is the first book of the Bible. By these are the isles of the Gentiles. So when you're talking about the Gentiles, you're talking about all of those of Japheth. The sons of Japheth is Gentiles in the Old Testament. And I want to make sure I clear that up. In the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, the sons of Japheth, according to the Bible, not me, these are the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their lands, everyone after his own tongue. After his tongue and after his families in their nation. That's the Bible. I'm repeating this stuff because this is going to tie in and make a lot of stuff clear to you later. So I want to lead you. Make sure you write down Genesis 10 so that you could go back and find that and be able to do in your studies. Who are the Hebrews? The Hebrews are who?
Are they the line of Abraham?
They are the line of Abraham, yes. They are the line of Abraham. Yes. The Hebrews end up coming from around Mesopotamia. So, okay, right now we can just say they are the offsprings of Abraham. Who was Abraham's father?
Terah.
Huh?
Terah.
Terah. Who was Terah's father? Eber, yes. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. I got some. There you go. Okay, I'm feeling good. Huh? All right. Who are the Africans? Ham is the first son of Noah, and then after Ham, there was a line of a whole lot of people. The Jebusites and the Hivites and the Ethiopians and a whole. It's a long go down. Go. Here it is right here. Cush. Cush is Ethiopia. Mizraim. Who is Mizraim? We're taking a quiz without y'all knowing we're taking a quiz. Huh? But I know about who is Mizraim? Watch this. Mizraim is Egypt. So how many of you seen movies where the Egyptians were like, they look like Europeans? Remember what was it? The Ten Commandments? The Ten Commandments of old. I don't know if y'all seen that old one. The old movie, yeah. And the Ten Commandments. And the people of Egypt, they look like Europeans. They were Ham. That's Africa. That's Cush was, they were called the sunburnt people. And then so you get up with Put, Canaan, you end up with all of these different ones who Cush and sons were Seba and Havilah and Sabata, Ramah. You end up with all of these different names. Nimrod. Have y'all heard of Nimrod? Nimrod would eventually build the Tower of Babel.
Was he a king?
Huh?
Was he a king? Was Nimrod a king?
He was a powerful warrior. He was not really someone. He just was powerful. Have you ever tried to learn like Spanish or something online? Mm-hmm. It's called what?
The Bible.
The Bible. Guess where that come from?
When God made him speak out of different languages.
I know it, but I'm saying the reason why they call that program Bible is you come back to learn the different languages. I learned Spanish. I always tell this story. I learned Spanish on Babbel. I got my certificate and everything, but I didn't use it. And so guess what? Huh?
You lost it.
What's that word? Little, what is it? Patico. Yeah. I lost that too. So I know, I just tell y'all. But that, so he was all of that. All right. So keep going. So we got that. So we got the sons of. So now y'all know the sons of Shem, right? Japheth, Terah, right? Who are the children of Israel?
The 12 tribes, right?
The 12 tribes. There you go. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with that. The children of Israel is the 12 tribes of Israel. Why are the children of Israel called the 12 tribes of Israel? You heard the name, the children of Israel. You've heard the 12 tribes of Israel. Why are they called the 12 tribes of Israel, or why are they called the children of Israel? Anybody in the room who got it? Huh?
I have my thoughts, but
What was their daddy name?
Israel, Jacob.
Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So they were the 12 tribes of a man named Israel. Just like my kids could be called the whatever tribe of Elmer or Wilson, because they are of the Wilsons. So it was not like it was something, just say, I don't even know how to, it was, I would just leave it this way. Their dad's name was Israel. Right, okay, so they were called the children of Israel. I want y'all to remember this, because when people start making the people of Israel more important than they ought to be, it is nothing but the dad's name was Israel. That's why I'm bringing this up. Okay? So you have those 12. Okay, so who is the tribe of Judah? The children of Judah. It's really just that simple. The fourth son of Israel was Judah. And so all of those that was of Judah will be called the tribe of Judah. It's really just that simple. They make it seem like it's religious stuff that has, that has been, that God blessed. That was his dad. That was our dad's name. Okay? While we're there, and Judah was what? Judah, if you go according to the Bible, Judah ended up having a kingdom named after him. Israel, their father, had a kingdom named after him. Most of the children of Israel lived in the kingdom of Israel. You had in Judah, you had the tribe of Judah, and then you had you had Benjamin, and I can't think of the other one, but you had, they all was in the kingdom of Judah. When we looked at the map, I'm reviewing, when we looked at the map of today, what's the difference between old maps and our new, or our maps today? Look back on your, on the last page. On your last page, especially looking in the top, what's that, left-hand corner looking at the page, you'll see Judah at the bottom, you'll see Israel at the top. Do everybody see that? Yeah. Judah had their own kingdom. And Israel was the northern kingdom. What was the capital of Judah? What was the capital of Israel? Samaria. These are things to be, and I want y'all to remember this, because when you are studying, when you are listening to sermons and different things, this is going to make a lot more sense to you. Remember the last time when we got ready to close out, we looked at that Samaritan woman who everybody talk about, and how, you know, all they talk about is how many men she had, but they don't think about that she was Samaritan, or from Samaria, which meant that she was of the tribe of Israel, which meant that when she said at the well, she was like, our father Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, she was like, he gave us this well. So she knew who she was. And so even when she met Jesus, she didn't know who he was, but she was like, why are you talking to us? You being a Jew, y'all don't have no dealing with us. Because, and she was just speaking out of what she had been dealing with. If you remember again about that story was, Jesus said first, he goes, I must need go to Samaria. This is in John chapter 4. We're not going to go there now. But he said, I must need go to Samaria. He goes there, and then he tells his disciples, go to town and buy some food, whatever. And while they were going, he started talking with this woman. And that whole conversation happened. When they show up, they start saying, Jesus, why are you talking to her? Now, she is from the tribe of Israel. She's Hebrew. But they still don't want him to talk to her, because she don't follow their religion. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. Religion can destroy nations, families, everything. And that's why you have to be careful with religions. Okay? So we go to say, what is Judaism? What is Judaism? Anybody, what is Judaism?
Would that be the culture of the children of Judah?
It is a particular culture of the children of Judah. Yet it is. It is, and then it became a religion. When you hear the people say they are Jewish, that is what they're talking about. They are following that culture. Look at Tonga. All right, go ahead. So, was Jesus Jewish?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Was Jesus Jewish?
Yeah.
You should prove it. I'm saying, because you look, I want you to be able to answer these questions. Was Jesus Jewish?
Yes,
He was Jewish. Okay, prove it.
According to the fact that they said that it's the mother's culture, whatever she's from, or her race, or not race, because we know Jewish is not race, but that's their belief, that if the mom is into it, that then the child is that.
So Bethlehem was in Jerusalem, right? Bethlehem was in Jerusalem?
He was from the line of Judah.
He was from the line of Judah.
David.
He was from the line of David. Was he Jewish? I want to ask you, okay, I want to ask you this question today. How many Jews, or can you say that all Jews in Israel today follow Judaism? Okay. They don't. Okay, so they can be from there, but they don't follow it. But they're still called Jew. Okay? That's today. Okay, how many Muslims who don't really practice Islam is called Muslim? A lot. Huh?
A whole lot.
A whole lot. How many Catholics that don't follow Catholicism that are called Catholic? Okay, so why are they called that if they don't follow it?
That is how they identify.
Huh?
It is how they identify.
It's how they identify themselves. So what they have come down to say is, regardless the ethnicity ethnicity that you're born, if you're born in a family, just say of Jew, or Muslim or Catholic, you are that automatically, even though you don't follow that belief. Okay? Write that down and remember it, because we'll come back to that later. All right? What were the people that followed Jesus called? This is one of our last three questions. What were they called? What were the people that followed Jesus called?
The way.
Huh?
The way.
What?
The way.
The way. Now, was that their race or their ethnicity?
No.
No. Okay, what I'm saying is, remember, we just said, if you are born in a Jewish family, you're called Jewish even though you don't follow Judaism. If you're born in a Muslim family, you're called Muslim even if you don't follow Islam. If you're born in a Catholic family, you're called Catholic even though you don't follow Catholicism. But you just told me that these people who are called the followers of Yeshua, the followers of Jesus, the followers of Yah, if they're born in that family and they are not following it, are they called the way? Please think, huh?
That was his teaching. He was called the truth, the way, and the life.
Right.
I guess it depends on who's calling them. Who's calling them what?
Okay. So, if they are born in a family, just say, that follows the way, but they don't, are they of the way?
They're not.
They're not. But Jews can be Jews, even though they don't follow it. Muslims can be Muslims, even though they don't follow it. Catholics can be called Catholics, even though they don't follow it. But now you're telling me that if you are a family of the way and you don't follow it, you're not of the way? Did everybody just get that? That was a problem they had with the way. Because Everybody else did it the other way. And these people would say, no. If you don't follow the way, you're not of the way. Am I making sense? We're going to bring this back to Black history, but that's right. When were the followers of Jesus called Christians?
By the Romans. Yeah, you say when? When they were in Antioch.
That was when they was first called Christians in Antioch. That is true. They was first called Christians in Antioch. When did the people that follow Jesus call themselves Christian? Okay, no. The first question is right. It was in Antioch. Okay, when did they call themselves Christian? What you say?
Didn't they call themselves Christians?
He's asking, did they ever?
No. The truth is, the Roman church in the 15th century first embraced the name Christian. This was after they killed pretty much all of the followers of Jesus. But realistically, the people who followed Jesus, even Paul and all of them who would be crucified, never said they was Christian. We don't know this. But you can research this. When Paul would refer to, oh God, I'm trying to remember that. Where's my, I don't have a, when Paul first when he's talking to the king, I need a what you call it person. No, I need somebody to pull it up on the. Look up when Paul talked to. When Paul was in Rome, and he goes before what was the king name? What was the king name?
Are you talking about he said he's legal?
Not Pilate. Pontius
Agrippa. Yeah. Find what Paul says when he goes to Agrippa. And Paul is Hebrew. Paul is preaching. Paul is the one. Pull up Paul goes before Agrippa. What was that?
Acts 26.
It's Acts 26. Acts 26. Pull up Acts 26. Acts 26. Okay. Then Agrippa Paul, permit me to speak. Then Paul stretched forth his hands and answered for himself, I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself this day before thee, touching all things whereof I am accused of the Jews. Who he been accused of? Who is accusing Paul? The Jews. Remember this. Who is accusing Paul? Huh? Who's accusing him? The Jews. No, not the tribe of Judah, the Jews, because now we're in the New Testament. Now this is now a religion at this point. He said, I've been accused of the Jews. He goes, especially because I know thee to be, he's talking to Agrippa, to be an expert of custom and question, which are among the Jews, which wherefore I beseech thee to hear me patiently. Go up a little bit. My manner of life from my youth, which was of the first among my own nation, at Jerusalem, know all of the Jews, which knew me from the beginning, if they would testify, I gotta stand aside, that after the most straightest sect of our religion, what is it now? It's a religion. I live a Pharisee. He goes, and now I stand and am judged for the hope of promise made of God unto our fathers, unto which promise our 12 tribes instantly serve God day and night, hope to the come of which hope's sake. King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews. Why should it be thought that a thing incredible with you, that God should raise the dead? Because the Jews believe in raising the dead. I verily thought that myself. I verily thought with myself that I ought to do many things contrary to the name of Jesus of Nazareth, which things I also did in Jerusalem, and many of the saints did I shut up in prison, having received authority from the chief priest. And when they were put to death, I gave my voice against them. I punished them oft, or you could say often, in every synagogue, and compelled them to blaspheme, and being exceedingly mad against them, I persecuted them even unto strange cities. Whereupon, as I went to Damascus, when with authority and commission from the chief priest, at midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven, above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice from heaven speaking to me, saying in Hebrew, what language he spoke in?
Hebrew.
He spoke in Hebrew. Tongue, Saul, why? Okay, I just want to make us see, because you'll read by that. Look, he spoke in what language? Hebrew, because Paul is Hebrew. When he came to Abraham, he was speaking to Abraham in Hebrew. God don't come to me and speak to me in Russian. That's why you got to be careful with the speaking in tongues, people. Because when God speaks to you, he'll speak to you in your language. He'll speak to a Russian in Russian, an Asian in Asian. He'll speak to the people in the language where they understand. He says, in the Hebrew talk, he says, Saul, Saul, persecuted. Why persecuted thou me? It is hard to kick against a prick. I said, who art thou, Lord? He said, I am Jesus, who thou persecuted. But rise and stand upon thy feet. For I have appeared unto thee for this purpose, to make thee a minister and a witness both in these things which thou hast seen, and those things which in the which I will appear. Deliver thee, the people, from the what? Gentiles. Now we're talking religion now. Unto whom I will send thee, to open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light, and from the power of Satan unto God, that they may receive forgiveness of sin and inheritance among them that are sanctified by the faith that is in me. Whereof, O King Agrippa, I was not obedient unto the, I was not disobedient, I'm sorry, to the heavenly vision, but showed first unto them of Damascus at Jerusalem, throughout all the coasts of Judea, and then to the Gentiles. He said, because I'm still going to the Gentiles, that they shall repent and turn to God and do the works meet for repentance. For these cause the Jews caught me in the temple and went about to kill me, having therefore obtained help of God. I continue in this day, witnessing both to small and great, saying none of them that those which the prophets and Moses did say should come, that Christ should suffer, that he should be the first that should rise from the dead, and should show the light unto the people and to the Gentiles. And as he thus spake for himself, Festus said unto the loud voice, Paul, okay, thyself much learning. Okay, you got being mad. So long. Stop. I want you to go back up because I read by it, but I want to show y'all. Keep going up. Keep going up. It's closer to the top. He says, I punish. There is a synagogue. A man is against them. Oh God, I'm missing it. Go. Keep going up. Judge them. Keep going up. Jews. King Agrippa, hold up. No, okay, stop right there. Especially those accustomed, and as a manner of the youth. Keep going. Okay, which knew me in the beginning, living, and now stand in the judgment of promise unto them, the tribe and slain. That's not the one I'm looking for, which I want to see. But because he refers to this, I think it's the one where he refers back to it. But he refers it to that way. Anyway, my point, what I'm trying to make, and I will find it here shortly, is they will refer to them as the people of the way. They did not refer to themselves as Christians. The Christian, in fact, the word Christian or Christianity came in the 15th century. If I could get somebody to probably on the side say, look up the people of the way, we could probably find that. All right?
What you wanted to look it up? What you want to look up?
I see Acts 9 and 2.
Look at Acts 9 and 2. Yeah, okay. Yeah, look that one up. Because, Acts 9 and 2. Okay, it says, and Saul, breathing, out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went unto the high priest and desired him a letter to Damascus, to the synagogue, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound unto Jerusalem. So listen what he just said. It said, if he found any of this way, whether they be men or women. So they were called the people of the way. That's what Paul referred to them as. Now, when you said earlier about they were called that at Antioch, it was actually a derogatory name, right?
When they were called priests.
Right. But when they referred to themselves, they called them as the people, those of the way. Why? You said it earlier.
Because Jesus said that he was the way,
the truth, and the life. So they called themselves those of the way. I'm just being honest with y'all. Am I making sense?
Amen.
Okay. Last week we ended up talking about Abraham. We got to, so Abraham had Abraham fathered Isaac. Isaac fathered Jacob and Esau. Remember this. Look, put a star in your note about Esau, because a lot of us write Esau totally off when they hear about Jacob and Esau. Think about this for a moment before we go any further. Who was their father? Who was Jacob and Esau's father? Isaac. Look at all the, goes back to Abraham, which goes back to Hebrew. So what is Esau? Hebrew. So why have we called Esau like this white Irish red hairy person? Think about that. Have y'all, hold on, how many of y'all from the hood?
That would be considered somebody like albino or
no, y'all don't know nobody that they called them red in the hood. Okay, yeah. Describe red. How red look?
Red, light skin with.
He was light skinned with what?
Reddish hair.
Okay. So then why did we just call Esau Irish when he is from the same family as Jacob? No, you're exactly right. No, you're exactly right. But we know a lot. Look, if you're from the hood, you know somebody they call red. Right? Okay. Huh? Okay, but so I want y'all to remember that, because we're going to go back to that later on. Look, I'll throw stuff in to bring it back to your remembrance later on. But Deuteronomy, I want to read it. Come on, where's my reader at?
18?
Huh? Yeah. Huh? Give me my reader. Look at it. See, that I do. Come on. Just start at 1. Yeah, at 1. Yeah. 18 and 1. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The priest, the Levites and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of the Lord made by fire in his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. The Lord is their inheritance, as he hath said unto them. And this shall be the priest's due from the people, from them that offer a sacrifice, whether it be ox or sheep. And they shall give unto the priest the shoulder, and the 2 cheeks, and the maw, The first fruit also of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of thy sheep shalt thou give him. For the Lord thy God hath chosen him out of all thy tribes to stand to minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons forever. And if a Levite come from any of thy gates of all Israel where he sojourned, and come with all the desire of his mind unto the place which the Lord shall choose, then he shall minister in the name of the Lord his God, as all his brethren the Levites do, which stand there before the Lord. They shall have like portions to eat, besides that which cometh of the sale of his patrimony. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those.
Okay, stop right there for a moment. So now listen, do y'all remember when we looked at the Limba people? Remember that video? We looked at the Limba people and they went in and they did the DNA test of the Limba people. You remember that? And they found that the Limba people had this Y chromosome above all, just say, which was higher than all of the people that they have in Israel right now. That Y chromosome wasn't just saying they was Jew. That Y chromosome said they was Levi.
That's right.
So even though, according to their DNA, which was proven by medical testing, they were not allowed back in today's Israel today. This meant they were Levi, which you're reading about now that's saying they were supposed to be taken care of. A lot of those people end up in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, in Haiti, you know, St. Thomas, a lot of the islands down there. A lot of those Levite people ended up there. How many of y'all is old enough to remember like the whole thing with Nelson Mandela? Huh? What was that? The apartheid? Okay. You know what that was?
South Africa.
South Africa. Where the Limba people are. I know, yeah. You got to take your glasses off now, right?
Okay.
That's where the Limba people didn't just arrive there. The Limba people been there for years. So when all of that was going on, that was happening in South Africa where the Limba people are, that they came. Yeah, and I'm telling y'all, I remember when I started looking at this stuff in 2012 when they first started doing this research. And I remember when it happened. And they know they had the medical documentation, but the Limba people still are not allowed back.
Wow.
Okay?
But why are they not allowed back?
Because
Are they skin color?
there's people who want to control the world, and they don't want this information out.
But the Levites were the priests and stuff back then. They the ones. They were the priests of the temples.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I got it.
And I'm telling you, you can find even some of the older maps where you'll find like the trails that the Limba people took down through there, and like they would, because they didn't just travel the whole way. You know, they would stop and they would set up and they would settle there for a while. But then they would build stuff like what they call Solomon's Wall, and it was stuff that was related to Jerusalem. This is now what they call the National Forest, where you know, like you see those people go on those safari things where they go out, they see the animals and all that kind of stuff, and But you can't get out and do research there because they don't want you to end up discovering the stuff that's actually there. So a lot of this stuff is kept secret. And unless you just really go down and you start doing a whole lot of research, you don't really know that this is really what's happening. All right, huh? Any question, any comment before we move forward? I don't want y'all to say I didn't have to give y'all a chance to talk. All right, Rita, come on, where you are?
Okay. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth
divination. And this is like child sacrifice. So okay, keep going.
Or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are in abomination unto the Lord, and because of these abominations the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken until observers of times and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy God hath not suffered thee so to do. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him ye shall hearken.
Okay, so for he's saying that, okay, I want y'all to remember this. The people that you're going to go and encounter, don't pick up their habits or their behaviors. I want you to stay according to what I told you. Okay? And then he says this. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of what thy what? Brethren. What does that mean? What does that mean? If he's going to raise up in the midst of their brethren, what does that mean? He said, I'm going to raise up a prophet, and he's going to be from the midst of your...
Someone from within.
From one within. Okay, so keep going.
According to all that thou dearest of the Lord thy God in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And the Lord said unto me, they shall have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will rise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth. And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord hath not spoken? When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that this is the thing which the Lord has not spoken, but the prophet has spoken it presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him.
All right. So he's talking about, this is Moses now. They're out in the wilderness. They left Egypt. So they're now out there. You have to also remember, there were more than the children of Egypt that left Egypt with them. There were people that were also enslaved at the time, but Pharaoh was so tired of all of the plagues and everything that had happened. He was like, get them all out of here. So all of those people left with them, and they went out into the wilderness, and they all just say live together. So when you hear stuff about like the law and people following the law wasn't just religious stuff. The law was, you had like over 1 million people that ended up leaving out of there, and they was traveling and they had to live together. So the Lord had to give them like certain laws to follow. Stuff like, take your trash over to that corner so we can burn it in one spot. All of these were laws. That's why it was like 300 or something. It was like all kinds of laws. Again, when we think of laws, we just go religion. No, the laws it was a lot of stuff. It was like, okay, respect your neighbor's boundaries. These were laws that was given so that we can live together. Right? Right. It's like law, right? Okay, and so you had to know the law. I raised this up one time. I just want to throw this out here again. Okay. If you come to a four-way stop, you're driving, and 4 cars get there, who go first? The first one who got there first. What if all of them get there at the same time?
Some might say, go ahead.
Huh? Hold on. Okay, hold on. By the law, if everybody get there at the same time, who is supposed to go first?
Huh?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna go.
See that? You don't know the law. See, guess what? You just broke the law. Now, do y'all understand what I'm just trying to tell y'all? No, but what you said was right. The one to your right, if everybody is there at the same time. So we got lawbreakers in the house. You're not the only one. I see it on some of the others. I know. What I'm telling you is, when it's talking about the law, it's not just talking about religious stuff. It's talking about things that we would understand like that today. It was like, there are things that help us get along and everything. All right? So, yes.
So, that's okay. So when they all left Egypt, and you have a bunch of, people that was in slavery, right? But they all from like different religions. But now at this point, they're living among
Moses. And what he's getting from.
And what he's getting from God. Are they following the same rules, or are their rules different because they all are not,
That's what got him in trouble. You remember when Moses went into the mountain and he stayed up there, and then all of a sudden they built that calf?
Yes, and they started worshiping
that calf, and Moses came down, and actually God sent him down because all of a sudden he heard them celebrating that calf. Where did they get the calf? Where did they get the idea to worship the calf from?
See, okay, right, I wouldn't have thought about that, got it.
Right. And you got to remember, they had spent 400 years in Egypt. So in the 400 years of Egypt, they learned, the ways of Egypt.
Oh, right, okay. But were they accepted, were they all still accepted as the same? Just talking about Aaron. Aaron would have been the one from the Levite tribe, right? So he worked with Moses. He was Moses' spokesperson.
Right.
Part with the people.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so when that happened, and when they go and they doing their sacrifices and stuff like that, and the priest is going, and they are bringing the animals, are the people that's not Hebrews, are they allowed to do the same thing? Like they can follow the same thing, they was accepted the same way?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But Aaron felt pressured, so he went along with what they were saying. And it actually got Aaron in trouble.
Wow, okay.
Because Aaron's 2 sons ended up dying.
Yes. Yeah.
Nadab and Abihu end up getting
He didn't follow the.
yeah, he look, the thing is, you gotta follow the Most High.
Right.
You gotta follow God. You gotta follow Christ. And I'm gonna show you, you know, I can, you know, what people don't understand is, even like Yahweh, Yahweh is like straight Hebrew. Hebrew was without vowels.
Okay, right.
Yahuwah, which is the same name, is Hebrew with vowels. And you have to look at it because it was actually added later when they put dots like around certain letters, and it'll change, you know, like we do in English. A vowel at the end changes the vowel in the middle, yeah, kind of thing. So you end up with, from Yahweh to Yahuwah, same name, one with a vowel, one without a vowel, kind of situation.
Right. Like Joe's name is Johan, but really it's Hebrew, so his name is pronounced Johan.
Right.
So when I call a doctor's office, they're constantly calling him Johan, which is fine. I mean, it's the same thing, but I ended up learning that when I had his name.
Right.
But okay, I got it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
The name Jehovah.
Jehovah.
Is that a pronunciation? Is Jehovah and Yahweh?
No, he was recognized by several names. Yes. Yeah, he was. That's what. It's just like when we talked about Melchizedek, who was the king of the Most High God. That's the same one is Yahweh. That's the same one is Jehovah. Adonai is just Lord. We use God in a very general way, which leave for a lot of interpretations of what people call God. That's why people, you know, today go, I have a relationship with God, and their relationship with God don't represent nothing out of the scripture, because we have so they would refer to his name. And so when you refer to his name, you either got to go by what he said, or you can't attach yourself to his name. But when you just use the word God, that's kind of a general statement that's very, very dangerous. All right, you ready to read it? Okay, so let's go to, watch this. Hold on, did I look back up to 14? Look back up to 14. Yeah, the 14th verse. Yes. Okay. For nations shall pass. Okay, I covered that. He said, don't listen. He said, don't listen. These people you're going to encounter, don't become like them. Now, we have to really take that in, because a lot of time we become like them. So there is no difference between us and them. So that when we are, you know, when you're trying to find out, and I'm going to use this word, Christian, you don't know the difference. Why? Because we're no different than they are. Right? That don't supposed to be. But because we just say, accept him as your Savior, you're locked and loaded, everything's fine, you can't lose your salvation, don't worry about nothing. And that's why I keep saying that was a very, very dangerous thing to introduce into the scripture. Okay, Deuteronomy 28. Here's the big one. Here's the big one. Deuteronomy 28. Come on, reader. Read.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the
Blessed in the city, we're blessed in the field. Okay, we love that, right? Go, keep going.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. And the Lord shall cause thy enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, and walk in his ways. And all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. And the Lord shall make the plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, and in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand. And thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, to observe and to do them. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken.
Okay, stop right there. Okay, so because I want us to just really, because you know what we have heard so much is all of these blessings that was just spoken. But you know what they leave out? They leave out, if you do what I say,
That's right.
all of these blessings shall be unto you.
That's right.
If you do what I say, because when she started, that's what it started with. It started with, if you will hear my words, if you will obey my word, all of these blessings you will get. Guaranteed, lock down everything. They tell you, start the new year, okay, name it and claim it. They don't mention nothing about obeying the word of God. There is nothing about obeying the word of God that is linked to blessings or anything at all. Everybody now just call a blessing something good that happened. And there's a whole lot of people who have lost faith because they have been waiting and it has not happened. And they don't realize it's because there is no obedience to the Lord thy God. But they want the blessing. They want the increase. They want to be called blessed. They want all of this stuff to happen, but it's not there. This is Old Testament. It's going through to the New Testament. Okay? All right, where are you now? But if not 15, go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee the cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from the land, whither thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee, until thou be destroyed. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them. It shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And thy carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. The Lord shall smite thee with madness, and blindness, and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat therefore. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto other people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. The fruit of thy land and thy labor shall a nation which thou not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away. So thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee until a nation which neither thou nor their fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. Thou shalt carry much seed out in the field, and shalt gather but little, and for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coast, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine oil shall cast his fruit. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with the gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fair countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young. And he shall not eat the fruit of the cattle and the fruit of thy land, and until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thine kind, or flocks, or thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trudest throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine old body, the flesh of thy sons and thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee in the siege and the straitness, wherein thy enemy shall distress thee, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate. What is that? Okay, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall lead, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left in the siege. In the straitness where thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicate and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for one of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, where thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all of the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left in the number, whereas the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And thou shalt serve, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have ever known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. For the fear of thine heart, where thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
All right. That was long, but I want y'all to understand something. There's a lot of stuff said, and especially at the end, I want you to look at this last verse to really get a grasp on all we've been talking about. It says that, because remember, it was like, if you obey me, you got all these blessings. If you don't obey me, you got all these curses. Then it goes on to say this here, and this is what we have heard even from the people we've seen in the videos, the rabbis and all of those people say this. And the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again with ships. Stop there. Y'all remember the map?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when they left to leave Jerusalem and go to Egypt, did you need a ship?
No.
So he wasn't talking about that Egypt. Egypt is representative of what in the Bible? Captivity, strange land, all of that. Place of bondage. Here he says, and the Lord shall bring you into Egypt again with ships. There is, and what everybody has been, this is the big problem they've been having, is it said, and this was prophesied by Moses before 1619. That's why I keep saying 1619 is not where it started. Moses talked about 1619 before 1619 happened. We looked at a video where the rabbi said that some of the largest groups of where they can prove the ship routes goes back to, just say, between Africa and the Americas. They said it brought over the Ibu or the Igbo people, the people from Jerusalem. They came here by what? Ships. Have y'all ever heard people that came here by ships? They said that the people who, and I'm going to have this information the next time, but they said that the people who came here on ships as slaves couldn't read, right? But they didn't speak English. They spoke Hebrew. Huh? And so for them, you to put an English book in front of a person who speaks Hebrew, he can't read it.
Right.
And so it was forbidden to teach him how to read. Why? Because this information is in the book. This is the same information. Again, this is Deuteronomy, which is according to the Hebrew Bible today. So if you go to the Hebrew Bible and look at it in the Hebrew language, you could translate it and read it just like this. Did y'all just get that? So when they were saying these so-called African Americans, and a lot of people was looking at them like, why are they saying that? It was because they weren't from Africa. They're from Shem, which was up there around Mesopotamia. This is why when it says here, what we read last week, when it said, yes, sir.
Is it true that even the Africans was selling off the Hebrews?
Yes.
Yeah.
They weren't their people.
Right.
In fact, I had a conversation with somebody earlier this week about that. You got to remember, who built Egypt? Remember, they was there for 400 years. They, I'm talking about physically built Egypt. Okay? So when it was time to build another country, they said, go get them folks.
Them that was in Egypt.
Huh?
The folks that were in Egypt.
The folks who built Egypt.
That's where.
And so they became a hot commodity to get them over here to build America.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't think this is really pertaining to this, but okay, so they were in Egypt for 400 years in slavery there, right? And then then there was more slavery here, right? Is there a reason why we went through so much slavery?
You just read it.
Like, but I'm just saying, like, because like when you look in the Bible, right, and it kind of talk about even when they went to the they was walking around in a circle, just not obeying God for those 40 years or whatnot. Is this some of like our own karma of reaping?
You could call it karma or you could call it disobedience. What I'm just saying is, yeah, a lot of stuff we have just brought on ourselves and we've been blaming everybody else because we just won't do what we're supposed to be doing. The thing, see, have y'all ever read where in the Bible when they talk about Jesus, it says, he came to his own, and what? And what? And they received him not. So as many as received him, to them he gave power to be called the sons of God. So he came to his own. Now we read earlier where Moses said, that he will raise a prophet from among you. Mm-hmm. But when he raised the prophet, then you sit up and say, we can look, next week we're going to look at when Paul was preaching, well, Paul would constantly say he came to the Jew first and then to the Gentiles. Have you read that? Okay, so it was given to you first.
Yeah.
And if it was given to you first and you say, I don't want it.
Right.
Okay, guess what? That's a bad stain on you because it was offered to you first and you said you didn't want it. Again, we read this last week, when we was looking at when we were looking at it is like the dictionary of and this is the Ashkenazi Jewish rabbis, and it says, when it was referring to Ham, and it says, Ham, the youngest of the son of Noah, probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races. Stop right there, because see, y'all would think everybody dark is African American, everybody dark is whatever. It says of the dark races, not the Negro. So how is it of the dark races and not the Negro?
The dark races and not the Negro. So
Ham people was of the dark races, or he produced the dark races, but not the Negro. But the Ethiopians, the Egyptians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. Then it goes on to say, his descendancy when his father lay drunken, brought the curse on Canaan. This is talking about Genesis. So it wasn't. We heard about the curse of Ham. The curse of Ham fell on Canaan, not Ham. It was on Canaan. the land of Canaan would eventually be given to Abraham, Shem. My point, what I'm making is, this verse, this chapter right here explains 1619 to everybody but the people who are the victims of 1619. And we've watched videos after videos. Y'all seen other people saying, yeah, that's them, based on the book. But we don't believe in the book enough to make that a part of our life. These people who are reading it, I'm talking about all over the world, are saying, that's them. The so-called African American. See, because we was first called, we was called Negroes. We didn't like that name, right? So we wanted to be called black. And then we didn't like that name. So now they gave us African American. And so we like that one because it makes us feel like we from Africa.
We're the only race whose identity has changed so many times.
There's a reason for that. That's what I'm saying. And it's because if you don't know who you are, you will change numbers of times. But when you know who you are, you'll say, no, that's not me. I don't care what y'all say. And so what they all understood is, the only people that they can prove of, I'm talking about, that was, they could reference this whole, you're going to go back to Egypt again in ships. There is no other people in the world that you can relate that to. And they are now in America, South America, in all these different places. They planted everywhere. And they were sent there in ships. Black history, folks. So again, look, back to your first question. Where's Judah? When she first asked, because we looked at how they had taken Judah off the map, and she said, where is Judah? And I said, you're looking at Judah. They took Judah off the map. Yeah. Judah was taken off the map. Look, geographically and personally.
That's true.
So question.
Yes.
Where Judah used to be, like, is there like landmarks that let people know that is the real Judah, or is completely hidden now?
If you go back to the old,
standing right like on this land, and you wouldn't really know.
Because if you look at the old maps, you'll see exactly where Judah was.
Oh, so we could still really go there. It's just not.
It won't be called Judah.
Right. Okay.
It won't be called Judah. But see, Judah is, and I'm gonna finish up. But see, when you go through the genealogy of Jesus in Matthew, y'all know that? Like Abraham begot this and blah, blah, blah. That's Judah. So when you hear about Rahab, y'all remember Rahab? The harlot? That's all everybody knows. I know, yeah. No, I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying that's all people know. She was a harlot. They don't realize Rahab ended up like the great mother of Jesus. When you hear about what's her name from Moab? Ruth. Ruth was of a cursed tribe who married Boaz, who ended up in the lineage of Jesus. What they're showing you all through that is, the line of Judah that gets you back to Jesus, that leads up to Jesus. Because in Genesis 49, Jacob said before he died, whose name was changed to Israel, who said, Judah, the scepter, would not leave Judah until Shiloh come. So which means the kings and the authority would not leave Judah until Jesus shows up. Guess what? Get rid of Judah. Everybody was out to bring Judah down. Because you don't have the Brits over there in the UK having everybody watching their weddings and their burials and all that kind of stuff if Judah existed. And people sat there and watched forever and all that kind of stuff. People don't. Do y'all? I'm gonna say this here, and this is my last point. But I want y'all to think about this. I want y'all to research this for our last class. They tell us that the United States is established on Judeo-Christian values. Have you ever heard that? Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at that. If it is established on Judeo, what's Judeo mean?
From Judah.
From what? From Judah or Jewish?
Right.
Christian. What they mean by Christian? Catholic. Remember that. When you talk about the government and the United States, Christian don't mean you. And this is why even your politicians, you know who are Jewish and you know who are Catholic. You don't know who are Baptist, Pentecostal, none of that stuff. They will boldly say, I am Catholic, and they will boldly say, I'm Jewish. We watched AOC say it last week on the video, right? And she said, she's Sephardic Jew. I want y'all to know, I'm Sephardic Jew. Why did she throw that out there? Because they call that the elite group. That's who runs the United States. Okay? Check the Bible and see who killed the followers of Jesus. The church at Rome, which ended up the Catholic Church. That's why it's called Roman Catholic. And the Jews, who turned them over to the Rome, or the Romans. Do you know that Israel is constantly begging for money, but do you know that you could just say Israel, which everybody sends money to Israel. You know the other place everybody sends money to? The Vatican. It's its own city. Controlled by no country. The Vatican is its own country. And they are the representatives of Christianity. And the Pope is their Lord.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Da Vinci Code? It's pretty good. They talk about in the Vatican and how there's a family. Mom, what is it? Is he the family member of Jesus and how they hunting him down?
Of course. They gonna always try to make that tie in. But what you're gonna find out is the family is in America don't know who they are. They run around killing each other and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and they think everybody owed them something, and the problem is they won't do what he said. We just read it. Yes.
Okay, you say you a Jew.
Who?
You.
Me? I said I was Hebrew. Yeah.
Okay, the Negro and the Black American. What y'all mean? Who are you?
The Negro could be any of the tribe of Israel. That's what I'm trying to tell you. See, so where Jazz? Her light-skinned self. She's Negro. Tracy's Negro. You see what I'm saying? Negro don't have to be dark like me. They just have to be of that DNA. They don't have to be dark like me. So, I guess to try to answer your question is, so the tribal, when it talked about it was not the Negro, it was saying the Africans, it was not of the people of Africa. That's what it said. Oh yeah. The Negroes were not the people of Africa. Right. Those people are from Ham. The Negroes were from Shem. So that's why, I don't know if y'all ever watched like some of the old, even videos of Martin Luther King. He would refer to us as Negro. He would say, and to the Negro, yes.
You know, in the Catholic churches across the water, they actually have a picture of Mary, right? Like a statue of Mary, but the statue of Jesus, he's actually melanated, very dark. I don't know if anybody else ever seen that.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But they definitely shows him as a Hebrew child.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
In
know.
Russia too.
In a lot of places, you know what? In a lot of places, they have that. It's just in America because we were we were dominated by the people who came over here to establish a new land. They presented their perception to everybody and put it in everybody's mind. But it would be more like he looked like us than anybody. And we're gonna look at that next time. Yes.
No, I was saying it's gonna change, but no, I was. My question was, who was the fifth of the 12?
Who?
The fifth of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Who was the fifth?
Yeah.
Who was that?
I have to look it up.
Yeah, you probably go to Genesis 49. You should be able to get it.
Genesis 49.
Go to Genesis 49. It don't matter. It'll tell you.
I'm in the 49. You can start reading.
Yeah, because you might have. You need a mic so I can scream. Read.
Let me change it to the King James Version.
Yeah, or you can look on the screen.
And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor.
So it was 2 and 3.
Thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stood down. He couched crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun.
That's the fifth one.
Is that number 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, just go ahead and read it.
Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon.
Okay, so that's the fifth one.
The answer is Zedek.
Zebulun, yes. That's.
I'm sorry, what verse was this again?
That's Genesis 49.
Genesis 49.
Genesis 49 is 13.
Yeah, and that's where you end up learning about Judah and all that kind of stuff. And that's, again, the stuff is right there. We either believe it or not. And then the outcome will be what it is. So if the word has told us, if you obey me, everything will be good, it'll be good. But if you don't do it, it's not going to be good. Now we can blame everything again on everybody else. But I'll say this oftentimes, we are oftentimes our worst enemy. Because we refuse to change, to repent, to metanoia. Any other questions, anything, y'all? Any comments?
I'm waiting till next week. I'm waiting till next week.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Because it's an argument between the people, you know. Like, I don't think that, we're learning about, you know, the different, like as far as being black, you know, in the Bible and stuff like that. But then it's like the theory of the argument of the people is that Christianity was built during the time of slavery, and that's where the white Jesus image comes or has been put into, you know, the African Americans during that time.
If all of the information that y'all have gotten in these last 3 weeks is in the book, I have not added in. Y'all have not heard me give my opinion about anything. Even when I have been asked questions, I go straight to the book. Is that true? If all of that was in there, and this white man who wrote it, he left that in there, he's an idiot. Because he has just proven my point. So, see, the thing is what they don't understand, and what I'm going to bring the next time, because there are places in the United States where the first churches of the people who came over, who were shipped over, when they started, they had stuff written in Hebrew and in different things. Now, they followed Jesus and his teaching, but they spoke in Hebrew. They didn't read English. So when they try to say he taught them their language, well, if he rewrote the book and he left Deuteronomy 28 in there, he's a flat out idiot. If he left all that information in there that points to what I'm presenting this week, the man was stupid.
Well, it sounds to me like you said in the beginning, you said, they were speaking Hebrew. So this was translated to some slaves, right? And then they just kind of carried it on, forgetting maybe perhaps about the Hebrew ways, right? And then reading is fundamental, because a lot of people go to church, right? But a lot of people don't take time, like you said, to go home and maybe Google some of these words, Google some things that you don't understand. A lot of people just go wait for the pastor to give them their knowledge, and then they go with that. And everything is, my pastor said, my bishop said, my apostle said. And that's the knowledge they go with. But a lot, like I say, reading is fundamental, and breaking down the words that you're reading is even more beneficial. So like the way, like you said, you haven't taken away anything. You haven't added or taken away. You just illustrate and kind of give us a 3D point on a lot of things that we've kind of was not taught the correct way. You know what I mean?
And I will agree.
Of getting to the way instead of some of the kind of bamboozlement we've learned just growing up from a child.
No, I will agree, and that's why I even say, and I'm hesitant about just pushing things too far. But like I'm telling you all, when you really start learning about the people of the way versus the people who call themselves Christian, you're going to find out that people who call themselves Christian are not like the people of the way.
That makes sense.
But if all they told you was you were Christian, then all you know to function like is the people who call Christian. So you could act any kind of way you want to act, and it don't matter. But if you was of the way, you can't. That's why I said God. I would not brought back up the whole thing about God. I said God, when we use it very generally, but if you say I am a child of Adonai, you can't just be a child of Adonai and do anything.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even Jesus said that his mother, who is his mother and his brother, and who is my father about.
Look at Deacon. Go ahead. I'm gonna tell Deacon Scott. He better not talk about you like that no more. He out of town. He had a death in his family, but he out of town. Yeah.
That's a good question. That's for another day, though.
Okay. Yeah. We'll do it. All right. Y'all good? All right. Y'all know how we do it. Give the Lord a hand clap of praise, and go to somebody and tell them I love you. There's nothing you can do about it.